Ukraine Security Service, the SSU, downed 41 Russian strategic aircraft with an estimated cost of $7 billion at 4 military airfields in the rear of Russia, the head of service Lieutenant General Vasyl Maliuk said on Monday. Among the 41 destroyed warplanes are A-50s, two 95s, two 22M3s, and two 160s used in Russia's long-range strikes across Ukraine. Maliuk stated that the downing of Russian bombers were carried out upon instruction of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskiy, who personally supervised the operation that was prepared by the security service. Maliuk described the operation as a retaliation, emphasizing that we'll continue to do everything possible to protect Ukraine and stop Russian shelling. Codenamed Pavutinya or Spiderweb, the operation had been prepared for more than a year and a half. As a result, the SSU drones worked on targets at 4 Russian military airfields at once: Belaya, Diagilevo, Olenya and Ivanovo, Maliuk clarified. Overall, 34% of strategic cruise missile carriers at Russia's main airfields were struck. It was not just a crushing blow to enemy aircraft, but a serious slap in the face to the power and terrorist nature of the Russian Federation, Maliuk stressed. The operation, Pavutyna, took place simultaneously in 3 time zones and was extremely complex from a logistical point of view. First, FPV drones were sent to Russia and hidden in wooden houses. At the right moment, the roofs of the houses were remotely removed and the drones flew to hit designated Russian bombers. In accordance with the laws and customs of war, we have worked out absolutely legitimate targets, military airfields and aircraft that bomb our peaceful cities. So we are actually demilitarizing the Russian Federation, because we are destroying military targets. And our strikes will continue as long as Russia terrorizes Ukrainians with missiles and shaheeds, Maliuk stated. Thanking the security service members involved in the operation, Maliuk pledged to respond to Russian terror and destroy the enemy everywhere, at sea, in the air and on the ground. And if necessary, we will get them out from under the ground. Earlier, Zelenskiy said that the coordination center for the Spiderweb operation was located near one of the FSB's departments. The president of the Ukrainian Aviation Association of Pilots and Aircraft Owners, Hennady Kazan, is confident that Germany will deliver a sufficient number of Taurus missiles to Ukraine to destroy Russian underground targets. When we receive the German Taurus missiles, we cannot simply rename them and use them as Ukrainian missiles. In this case, international regulations apply. Ukraine is the end user, and there is a special certificate for that. Furthermore, when joint production begins, Germany will still have rights to certain components, and Ukraine will remain the end user. However, based on official statements, we have grounds to believe that these missiles will hit the targets they are intended for. Kazan explained this opinion during a broadcast on Espresso. The aviation expert clarified that the Taurus missiles were designed to destroy underground targets. It is important to explain one very crucial point. Taurus missiles have one very important advantage. They are intended for destroying underground bunkers and storage facilities, including command centers and so on. Therefore, I believe Ukraine could receive 3 to 4 times more Taurus missiles than the number of underground enemy facilities. These targets need not just to be hit but completely destroyed, he added. Earlier, media reported that the German government plans to limit information about military aid deliveries to Ukraine. At the same time, Berlin will no longer comment on plans regarding the transfer of Taurus missiles to Kiev. There are no longer any restrictions on the range of weapons delivered to Ukraine, neither by the UK, France, nor us. There are no restrictions by the US either, Merz said, recently. Thanks to a more efficient engine, Hoffman explains, Taurus can also reach deeper into Russia than other systems currently in Ukraine's arsenal, and packs more of an explosive punch than Ukraine's new crop of deep-strike missile drones. Despite a publicly advertised range of 560 or more kilometers, Hoffman believes they can reach 700 to 800 kilometers. They are, however, air-launched, so they originate from planes that would not be over the front line, where they would be vulnerable to Russian anti-aircraft fire. Taurus can be easily adapted to F-16 fighter jets, which are now deployed in Ukraine, and to Gripen, a Swedish aircraft that could be on their way soon. Taurus is the best weapon system in Western arsenals to take down bridges, said Fabian Hoffman, a doctoral research fellow at the University of Oslo specializing in missile technology. So in theory, if Ukraine wants to take down the Crimean Bridge, Taurus would be the ideal weapon system to do that. Experts believe that the Taurus is unlikely to be a game-changer in the war and that while targeting the Crimean Bridge would be a big symbolic victory for Kiev, Ukraine needs it primarily to replenish its long-range weapon stockpile. Storm Shadow, Scalp e.g., they are running out sooner or later. Taurus is another very capable cruise missile that could be used by Ukrainians to just extend the availability of its long-range range strike capability, Hoffman said. This is a key advantage. It's mostly about the quantity and the number of missile systems available in Ukraine's arsenal.
The state must ensure long-term contracts, facilitate the procurement of essential equipment and components, establish a complete technological cycle, prohibit the conscription of specialists, and implement other supportive measures. Volodymyr Omelyan, major in the Ukrainian Armed Forces, diplomat, former Minister of Infrastructure of Ukraine, and politician, expressed this opinion on Espresso TV. As for the Russian offensive, everything depends solely on us. The more systematic our defense, the more we will slow down the advance of Russian troops. This will shape the agenda of the Russian occupying army. They lack a clear strategy for strikes in specific directions and will try to advance wherever they can. If there's an opportunity to attack in the Sumy region, they will press there. If there's an opportunity in southern Ukraine, they will press there. The main problem is that the Russians have learned a lot over the years. While one can debate the effectiveness of their weapons, they have put them into serial production on state orders. Volodymyr Omelyan explained. Omelyan believes that Ukraine's entire military-industrial complex should be composed of 2 or 3 companies that receive state funding and operate serial production. We are not doing this. This is what I have been saying for 3 years during this terrible war. Miracles don't happen in a garage. Even if someone invents something very advanced there, it still needs government support to grow. This support should include long-term contracts, help buying equipment and parts, setting up production processes, and exclude specialists from being drafted. The people who work for the army and create new technology should be involved in manufacturing. Right now, we haven't done that. We're still proud that 200 to 300 companies make drones and electronic warfare systems. But, my friends, we should focus on having 2 or 3 companies that produce 1,000 units per day. Instead, we just give up and say we have problems with air defense. The real problem isn't with missiles for air defense systems. The problem is with our thinking. The missiles should have already destroyed Russian production and supply lines, but they simply don't exist, he added. Recall on May the 28th, Ukraine and Germany signed a nearly €5 billion agreement to fund the production of Ukrainian long-range weapons, strengthen air defense, and boost repair capabilities inside Ukraine.